I gave you the first thing on the recording.
Hello, I'm Lisa,
I'm Cryss.
and this is AKS Knits and Crochets Outdoor Edition.
Mm-hmm. We had a little trouble getting set up in the backyard. We had to find the right spot and no shadows and the whole thing. And I have to practice talking louder because you hear street noises. We're outside. Anything can happen. What are you doing? Don't fuss.
I had fuss a little. So it was a nice day, one day last week, and or was it earlier this week? I don't remember, but it was very recently. And I I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my laptop. I'm going to work outside in the backyard. Oh my God, I got eaten alive by mosquitoes. It was horrible. When I came back in, Mom was like, "Oh my God, they bit you." I was like, "Yes, they did. Yes, they did." So if anybody knows mosquito bite remedies or have some advice for what you can do in your backyard to keep the mosquitoes at bay, I'm open. Okay.
Spiders.
You know what? I would take an eight-legged
Do
freak right now.
citronella candles actually work? I feel like they're like urban legend. Like we all believe in them.
No, I think they do.
Like,
I mean,
soup when you have a cold, it's just what you do.
because
But
you know what? In like the bug sprays, citronella is often a component, so it must do something, or maybe we just like the smell. I don't know. I just don't know.
okay,
So
we're settled now.
yeah, I think I am. Maybe.
So,
So what you got today, Chris?
I don't know. Well, I'm still putting my wool walk tote together. The wool walk tote was a surprise, like for me, because I was like, oh, I have some yarn left over. Let me make a tote. And it was one thing to like crochet the outer shell, but I have to like turn it into a bag now, and that's not a thing I do. So, um, like I was like every time I made a decision, like okay, this is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put it together like this. That was wrong. So. I just had to
Is that what happened?
like keep like doing each step over and over again.
So what went wrong?
Just first of all, I wasn't fusible interfacing, and I had doubts about the fusible interfacing at this thickness because interfacing I iron on and it goes and it's all good, right? This stuff would not iron on to my lining because the idea I was gonna like iron it onto the lining and then drop the whole thing into the bag.
Oh, that's what I assumed happened.
It was having some trouble ironing on, so it's not ironed on to a damn thing. And I paid extra for fusibility, and I have no fusibility.
Oh,
but okay, fine. But I made a lining out of this pink fabric that I had, which I'm not gonna take out because it's actually stitched to the bag. So I stitched through. What did I do? Did I stitch through the bottom of the bag? Yeah, I think I stitched through the bottom of the bag, like around the outer edge, to keep the lining, the bottom of the lining in place, so that the bottom of the lining would keep the interfacing in place because the interfacing is not fused to anything. I don't know. People are taking shortcuts these days when they make stuff. And I think someone took a shortcut on the adhesive.
Oh dear.
But if you saw it last week, it was stuffed. I had like fabric in here, but now it can like stand up because it's got some interfacing. It will stand up once I stitch it down. So I have my lining going to fold over the top of the interfacing. Then I'm going to stitch it to the bag. And as you can see, it's the real handles now. If you saw it last week, I had some temporary placeholder handles, but these are like my real handles because those are brown. I wanted black ones to match the bottom of the bag. And I love the round shape. They're like perfect circles. And I could secure it really, really well. It wasn't just held on by like those two rings.
Yeah.
So it's very nicely secured. And so this is my wool walk toe.
And I like the way this distributes the weight of this section across so you don't have that sagging. That's pretty cool.
So now I just have to stitch my lining to my bag. And my bag will be done. And inside I have my tee. If you didn't see last week's episode, my wool walk tee with all my 6 yarns.
That is
And
so
I've
cute.
done my armhole edging now. So now I just have to do my neck hole edging and weave in these last threads.
Now, what edging did you use for the armhole?
Single crochet. I just
That's
did
so neat.
2 rows of single crochet.
It's very neat. I like that.
So
Exciting, exciting wool walk.
I can't wait to wear them to like the yarn stores we went to for Wool Walk though. I want like the yarn store owners to see them because at each store I told the story.
Like it really happened.
I'm buying a ball of yarn at each store and I'm making a thing. Well, now I have my thing, so like I want to show them like, look, no, really, it's a thing. So that is my very nearly finished object.
All right. I mean, you're this close, okay? You're like right there. Well, I started a little something something. Oh, okay. I started a project called the Outline Tank. It's a Jesse Maed Designs. It's a really, really, really cute tank top. I will put a picture of it in the show notes. I didn't get a chance to get it done before we went on. We had so much drama getting set up outside.
We just kept moving the table around the backyard. If any of our neighbors saw us, they must have thought we were hilarious.
What are they doing? What are they doing? But anyway, you can check it out on Ravelry. It's a Jesse Maed design. And I'm going to be wearing it with my Zana cardigan. It's going to be summer 22nd. So what I've got so far is just...
They're not going to hear you when your head's not turned towards the mic.
Oh, sorry. What I've got so far is just the bare beginnings. It is the ribbing that goes around the bottom.
Did you fix that mistake?
Oh, no. It's a 1x1 rib. It's going to be invisible. It's a 1x1 rib.
But it's ribbing, so if you made a mistake, you won't have your straight line.
But the way it sits, it's never going to be visible. Just knowing it's there would drive her crazy. But I looked at it and I'm like, I can't find it until I come to it in the knitting. So it's not at all visible. So it was nothing I really needed to rip out my stitches to fix.
It's not just because it's visible that you fix it. You fix it because it's the mistake that you're aware of.
Right, but it didn't make... It's not going to make a functional difference in how this thing wears.
Sometimes they don't. Yes, that is true. But
it's going to be invisible and not make a functional difference. So for me, that's not something I need to rip back for. Especially, it was real fiddly getting this thing started.
I would hate knowing that I had a mistake like right at the beginning of my work.
Yeah, I know. I know that would affect you.
I feel like she thinks she's funny.
No, I really know how that would affect you, but I have a different standard. I look at the thing and I ask myself, is it going to be glaring?
Yeah, I know. It's not always a practical thing. It's not always like based on like, ones and zeros. Sometimes
for me, it's ones and zeros.
This is like the only time it's like that for her. Can I tell you?
Real. For real. But since it's not going to affect anything, I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. But what I did want to talk about is when you guys start large circumference circles, what do you do to keep it from twisting? I have this horror of, oh no, I'm going to cast on all these stitches, get it going, and then it's going to be twisted. So what I normally do is I had to cast on more than 200 stitches to get this thing going. What I normally do is I knit flat for about an inch and then I join it, and there's always a little gap at the bottom, so I just sew that closed, and that's always invisible too, especially in ribbing. It disappears right then and there. So that's what I normally do to avoid having to cast on that many stitches and have a twist in the loop when I join it. So if you guys know another way, I would love to hear about it, because it's a lot. It's a lot of stitches. Also, they specified that they wanted me to use a long tail cast on. So I did the long tail cast on, but what I did was I had 2 balls of yarn going, so I didn't have to guess how much yarn to leave out for the long tail, because I have never guessed right in all the years I've been knitting. Never once. I either have to cast.
So the tail is what you're knitting with as
Yeah.
you're casting on?
Yes.
And so it has to be enough for, like, in your
Right.
case,
So
200 stitches.
typically you do this. I would have my yarn, my needle, and I'd be casting on from these two strands coming from the same ball.
Mm-hmm.
But since I had another ball of it, I just tied the two together and cast on the same way.
Oh.
And now I don't have to worry about figuring it out, because if I have to cast on 200 stitches, I will either cast on 300, or I either leave out enough yarn for 300 or cast on enough for 195. And when you get to that end, there is literally nothing you can do.
Nothing.
So that's my tip for casting on large circumferences in whatchamacallit. Just tie on another ball or work from both the inside and the outside of your ball, just so you have two tails. Now that does leave you with one extra tail to weave in at the end, but it's totally worth it, because I haven't had that, that yarn chicken at the beginning of a project since I started doing it that way.
Knitting sounds complicated.
It's not extremely complicated at all, no. So, what did I change with this pattern? Nothing. It's super
You have
cute.
a picture?
I do have a picture. It's in black and white, though. I'm just going to hold this up to the camera. That's what the outline tee looks like. Super cute, charming details. It's going to go great under my Zana cardigan, which, by the way, it's finished. It was written for fingering weight yarn, and I'm using DK. So what I did to adjust to get my size was I did my swatch, and I measured my swatch to see what my gauge was. So my gauge, I'm getting, let me see, I think I have it written right here in the back of the pattern, because I had a very, very formal note-taking situation going on this morning. So my stitch gauge turned out to be 5.176 stitches per inch, and my row gauge turned out to be 6.76 stitches per inch. Now you see that it's not whole numbers, because I measured the entire swatch, both side to side and top to bottom. So it doesn't matter to me that I got decimals, because I'm going to round that either up or down depending on what I need. Mm-hmm. So what I did was I calculated out my number of stitches that I would need to cast on to get my chest measurement, and I saw which size was closest to my number, and I just decided to knit that size. So although I am a 3X, I am knitting the 1X to make up for the difference between my yarn and my needles, because I'm also working on DK size needles too. So you can give that a try, and that way you don't really have to change any numbers in the pattern. I'm going to use the exact numbers that are written for the smaller size. And I think it's going to help tremendously, because I don't have that much yarn. I have about 700 and some odd yards of this yarn. And and knitting this at the 1X size, it requires somewhere between 525 and 656 yards. So I will need less than that at a DK weight. So I should be able to finagle the amount of yarn I have by knitting it in a DK. So give it a try. I'm using US 4s, which is I always mess this up. That's why I can give you the millimeter sizes.
Are they both the same? Are you using a 4mm and a US 4? Did you check?
I checked.
Okay.
I'm not doing that.
She's done that.
I'm not doing that again. I'm using a 4mm needle for the ribbing, and I am going to switch up to a 4.5mm needle for the rest of the tank. But that's what I'm working on now. Super happy with it. Oh, and I'm working in Berroco chai. I love this yarn.
I haven't used my chai yet.
Absolutely love it. And I had wanted to show you guys. And I even have my swatch here today. Give this a feel. Tell me what you think.
Okay.
That is Berroco chai held together with mohair. It just, to me, it made it into something else entirely. Because this is
You
chai
want
all
to
by
hold
itself.
everything with mohair.
I do, but feel the difference. Now, chai feels good on its own.
Yeah. See, some people don't like how linen feels. I like
I
it.
love it.
So
Yeah.
I like this Christmas. I like how different it feels from wool.
Mhm.
So
I know.
that's nice. Yeah, that's nice.
But I think what I would like to do is do something for the fall in this, because I think this will make a really nice fall garment. It has a little bit more body, and because of the mohair, it will have more warmth. And this has got silk, it's got mohair, it's got linen. What is not to love? Let me show you what it looks like. So I made this swatch ages ago when we first got chai in, but it's been on my mind ever since. So I'm definitely gonna make something out of this. What else you got, Crystal?
I have something that we don't see on this channel very often. I have a yarn haul.
Oh,
I
that's
have a
right.
small,
I forgot.
teeny little yarn haul because I might have been perusing the Universal Yarn website and seen a few cute things. So let me show you what I got. I got, let me find one that still has ball band on it. That is Unity Beyond from Universal, and it is a DK weight, and it's a yarn mutt. It's wool, cotton, linen, and bamboo. I personally like a yarn mutt. I like what all the different fibers do together, but I thought this color with all the blues in it was really, really pretty.
Let me get a feel of that. Okay.
Yeah, you can definitely feel the linen in it.
Yeah, it gives it that crispiness.
And it's a little bit of a thick thin, and I'm still trying to figure out what size to use because the thin parts are really thin, but the thicker parts are quite thick. So I have to, figure out a hook size that's going to work for both sizes because the one I think I went with,
They
there's a 4 mil. Yeah,
suggested a G, yeah.
I tried the 4 mm, and for the thicker parts of the yarn, it was giving me a really tight stitch, so that it's a little small for a 4 mm. I think I might go up to a 4.5. Maybe if I don't really go past 4.5 mm very often unless I'm really working with like a really thick yarn. So my 5 mm hook might see the light of day. Who knows? But I started swatching a little bit. But I don't like this hook size for it. So I'm gonna swatch it a couple of different hook sizes.
Yeah.
But I do like the
good.
yarn. It's a little bit thicker. I think I'm thinking I want to make something that's kind of like outerwearish, like a light jacket, something for fall. So we'll see. I like my wheels are turning. I have an idea, but I haven't made any official decisions yet. But I don't know what this color is called. It is deeply blue.
Ooh.
I like that.
Ooh.
And I also picked up some Whisper Lace. This is a yarn that we had in the store, and we're all very fond of it. It's a lace to fingering weight, someplace in between there is 70-30 wool and silk. But this is something that's going to give you like the very light, flowy kind of fabric.
Mm-hmm.
And I just really liked this colorway.
And it doubles up very nicely. So if you wanted to hold it double, you'd get a nice DK to light worsted weight yarn. And it works up beautifully.
And this color is called Cloudy Morning, which is very apt. And then finally, because I am me, I got some linen. This is a 100% linen yarn. It's called flax. This one is flax lace because it is a lace weight. Let's see if you can see how thin those threads are.
Very fine.
I have an idea what I want to make with it. I don't know. I saw a picture of a thing. We'll see. I don't know. But
okay, what kind of thing
It's
was
a top.
it? Okay.
It's a top. It was like a little asymmetric kind of something.
Okay.
And it is like 500 and some odd yards. I forget. 547 yards. But it's got that beautiful crisp linen feeling that I love. I love the hands of linen. So, but I haven't worked with 100% linen before. I've always used blends. So I was very excited to find some of this at a decent price. And
I
love the color. Look at that. That color is really good on me. Oh my God.
That's good. I worked with BC Garn, which is also another 100% linen. And I really liked, especially for lace. Yes, I did my lace cuffs and whatnot out of it. So consider some lace. It was wonderful.
So those are my yarns. See, it was a little mini haul, but that's what I got. And I have tentative plans for 2 of them. I have no idea what I'm doing with my whisper lace yet. I have like a top level idea. I haven't like refined it yet, but I have some new yarn.
We have such a nice breeze today. Oh,
I know. Because if it was hot, I wouldn't have gotten her out here.
You sure enough wouldn't.
We would open the door. She'd be like, "Oh, it's hot." Yeah.
So I just got in the Vogue knitting magazine. I'm going to be doing a flip through of this one. It has some really interesting patterns. So keep an eye out. Vogue flip through is coming, and we will have them on the shop site if you want to get your own copy.
This is spring summer. I felt like a lot of the garments were heavier compared to like the Noro magazine.
Yeah.
Like summer wear. I feel like they should tell you in the photos, like where they shot the picture, so that you know, like this is why you're wearing a sweater in July.
Well, you know what? Everybody doesn't have heat like we do.
I know that, but they really need to like kind of orient you.
I think that's a good idea. Like, where would I wear this? Overall, I would have to say that I saw some interesting ideas. There was a lot of asymmetry and a lot of overall patterning, but I got inspired by something I saw in. Now, this is why you get magazines, because even if you don't make anything directly out of the magazine, there is much inspiration to be had. So there was an article about a designer. Her name is
Sylvia Watts Cherry.
Thank you. Sylvia Watts Cherry. She designed the sweater with the lady on it. I have seen this at Vogue Knitting many times. But what caught my eye, now here's how inspiration works. You see how you can only see part of the sweater right here? That was enough to intrigue the daylights out of me. So I think I'm going to be making this sweater as my holiday sweater.
That's delicious.
I absolutely love it. What is it called? It's called Akwa Miri. AWKA MRIR. And it's not on Ravelry. Here's what the issue is, though, because I got all hot about it and went looking for it. It is only in the issue 10 of Lina magazine. So I hopped on over to the Lina magazine website. They only have some copies left in Finnish. So I'm going to start doing a little canvas of my local yarn stores to see if anybody has a copy of Lina magazine number 10 left. So if any of you has,
can't you do like a version? Do you need a pattern? I mean, it's
probably
got stripes, so the stripes
would be easy enough.
You just need to do the triangles and the intarsia.
But since a pattern does exist, I don't have to figure all of this out.
Yeah, but I feel like that would be a fun challenge.
And a shawl. I don't want a challenge. I want a sweater. I don't want a challenge. I want this sweater right here. I want to replicate this sweater, only in my own colors. I know she's judging me. very loudly, silently right now. I can hear the judgment. They're like, no, I don't want to challenge. I want that sweater right there. That one. So if anybody has a copy of Liner Magazine number 10 they don't want anymore, let me know. We can talk. But yeah, I'm going to just do a little quick canvas of my local yarn shops and see if I can find it, because they sell some of the patterns separately, individually.
Grace and Pearl, I think she had one.
All right. But you know what? It's an older issue, and she's only been open 6 months.
Oh,
she might just have the newest lineup. But so that's what happens to me sometimes when I look through a magazine. I'm like,
but you could just look up like geometric intarsia and just put a pattern in between your stripes. Like you really don't have to find like that exact pattern.
I don't, and if I can't find it, that's pretty much what I will do. But if I can, why do I want to go through it and get trouble?
It wouldn't be trouble. It'd be a fun creative process.
Yeah, no, I don't want that for this particular thing.
You don't want a fun creative process?
I want to make that thing. I've
never heard anyone say that.
I'm all caught up. I'm like, my imagination is captured. I love the story she told about it. I want to make her thing.
Okay.
So there we go. There we go. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
So I am on the hunt.
That's one way to do it, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, just nah. I'm not about that life. I do have some things I want to design. I have some sketches in my notebook, but that's not one.
Okay.
All right, then. So you said you had some other projects on tap. What's going on?
I have long been obsessed with crocheting shorts. I don't even know why. I don't. I guess I'm like, I want to be able to make anything out of crochet. I don't want to like limit myself to like sweaters or certain types of garments. I want to be able to make anything that I would wear. So I wear shorts, I wear pants, whatever. I want to be able to make out of crochet, right? So there's typically like a lot of crochet shorts patterns all look alike, because there's like this one way people do it. Like you start with a stretchy waistband, and then you do the hips, and then you do a chain connecting the front and the back, and then you do the legs and the round, right? That's like kind of standard practice.
Okay.
But I have a lot more experience making things for the top half of my body than I do making things for the bottom half of my body. So for tops, sweaters, whatever, I know my numbers, and it's much easier for me to get started. Bottom half, I still have to work out, mostly getting from waist to hip or hip to waist. That's something I just don't do very often, and it's been bedeviling me. And then the yarn work, which has some serious gauge issues, we're not even going to get into all of that. But starting from the waist wasn't going to work for me, because it was going to be harder for me to fit to myself, just because I'm inexperienced making things for my bottom half. So I decided I was going to make some shorts, starting with the legs and then joining them and then working in the round up. And I think I've seen more knitting shorts patterns that do that for some reason. I don't know why knitters and crocheters are making shorts differently, but I've seen more knitting patterns. In fact, there was a knitting pattern in Neuro magazine, and I was trying to like read it and understand enough of it to figure out what they were doing. Couldn't. So I ended up just like fudging it and starting a pair of shorts out of a yarn that I absolutely love. This is Juniper Moon Farm Cumulus Dappled. I have all kinds of strings hanging. The skein I was working with, just ran out, so I just have like the last little bits of it, and it's kind of everywhere. But these are my shorts so far. They're going to get higher. They're not this short, because right now they cover next to nothing. But so I'm still working in the round up to the waist. But this is what I have so far, and I've tried them all. Oh, we're frozen.
Oh
Is
dear.
that okay?
Yeah, we're good.
We had momentary glitch. Okay.
Okay.
I've tried them on and they fit. They fit like exactly, no ease in either direction. And they're okay. You know what I mean? But I feel like just starting on a pair of shorts, I now have a better idea of what it is I want to do with shorts. So I will maybe finish these. I haven't decided yet. But here's the thing. What I have realized is that whether you're crocheting or sewing, when you're making anything for the bottom half of your body, you got that whole hip waist thing happening. You got two options. You can make it stretchy, so you can make it basically to one dimension and it'll just fit the other, right? Or you have to make it with some sort of opening. So you can have your waist and your hip be different sizes, but then just open it to get into them and then fasten it closed and everything fits perfectly.
Okay.
And stretchy is going to be an issue with crochet. It would limit me to certain stitches. And I still want to make sure I have a closed weave. You don't always get a closed weave if you're doing post stitches, which is usually how you get stretchy fabric with crochet. So I think I'm going to have to do an opening.
Okay.
I think I'm going to have to do some sort of fastening. I think I'm going to do buttons. I'm not going to try to sew a zipper into crochet. Not there yet. But I think I'm going to do like a button fly closure on a pair of shorts. I think I don't really want to work in the round. I want to seam it because I will have more flexibility in terms of my design. Like, so for instance, if I make the shorts in 4 pieces, front, left and right, back, left and right, I can make those in different colors or different yarns or what have you. So I think I do, even though I hate the actual act of seaming, I think I do want to make seamed shorts and I want to do a button fly. And last night, because I find I have crochet on my brain as I'm going to sleep. I don't know if that's healthy.
Maybe you want to keep a little pad next to your bed so you can write down those thoughts.
But last night, as I was going to sleep, I was starting to think about how I would do my button fly, how I do my buttonholes, because I don't like the way crocheters are told to do buttonholes, and I have an idea that I think will work, so my buttonholes won't stretch out. But yeah, so basically, I have a new plan for shorts.
I have some comments. Maybe you could use. You just made a pair of sewn shorts that fit you the way you like, right?
No.
Oh.
They don't fit. Which ones? The red ones?
No,
or
the
the muslin. I made a pair of finished shorts.
The muslin.
Yeah, the muslin had some issues. I was practicing pattern drafting, and I have a textbook. I have a textbook and no teacher, right? Yeah. And I'm trying to learn pattern drafting. And I made a muslin from the pattern that I drafted. Like, the fit was okay. But, I will definitely be practicing drafting shorts patterns again.
But maybe you could use that as a jumping off point for the shapes of your.
Well, that one doesn't fit though. But I have an idea for this. I was thinking, I had a lot on my brain as I went to sleep.
Really?
So I have an idea for the shapes that I'm going to do 4 panels. I know what shape I want the 4 panels to be. I know how I'm going to do but not only my buttonholes, but the opening in the front. I think I know how I'm going to do that. So I have a plan. I have like a rough outline for what I think I might do to make shorts. Remember what I told you about the wool bag? Every time I had an idea for how I was going to put it together? No. So we'll see what actually happens, what comes to fruition with the shorts.
Fascinating.
But I have a whole plan that, like, if I wrote down the plan and showed it to you, you would think I knew what the heck I was doing.
You know what? It's a good start. You know what? At least you have a plan.
But technically, I have a thing that is fitting. I don't know. The reason I said I don't know if I want to finish these is because I do want to use this yarn to make the shorts, and I don't want to keep cutting the yarn. So I might just stop here and be able to reclaim, because I think the second skein that I use, I don't think I cut it at all, so I can just reclaim the whole skein back from the shorts.
Yeah.
And because I want to make a top to go with it, so
yeah.
I want to make sure I have enough yarn to make a outfit.
How are you gonna do the waistband? Is it gonna be like a drawstring or?
No, because I'm gonna have buttons.
Oh, there
So
you go.
yeah. So and see, haha, that's one of the reasons I'm gonna do buttons. So I don't have to do no jiggery pokery with my waistband, because the whole idea of making the stretchy waistband and then working off of that, I've seen it work for like a lot of other people. I always have some kind of funny business going on with my waistband. And the thing is, like, you know, you make something wide enough for your hips and then you start decreasing that line where the wider part, you have to start shrinking it down to the narrower part. That's the part where you have trouble getting it over your hips because you narrowed it. Y'all see? So I'm just going to have to do like an actual fly on my shorts. But I didn't want to sew zippers, but now, like I said, last night I was thinking long and hard about how I would do buttons, and I think I have a thing that's going to work.
Okay.
It's going to be really hard to crochet with my fingers like this, but
yeah,
I'm going to have to.
That is going to be a challenge.
Although I could cross my toes. See?
Yeah.
It's
disgusting.
It's not disgusting. I just crossed my toe.
You don't know what her toes can do.
Since I was a kid.
It's horrible.
You see the face she's making? I don't know why. Anyway, but yeah, that's where I am. I think I am just gonna strike out on my own as far as making shorts, because the other things that I've seen people do, like they will make the shorts just so it fits your hip, and they'll do like some sort of drawstring or something, which one almost never looks good, and two, I have a pattern for a pair of shorts like that where they just use a little 3/8 inch ribbon for the waistband. The child is lying down in the picture because I know her shorts don't stay up. I know her shorts don't stay up. So she is laying out on the grass because some shorts are going to whoosh as soon as she stands up. So,
or they're going to hang real funny.
Not doing the drawstring.
If she's laying down in the picture, there was an issue there. Yes. If your model is in some odd position, there's always a reason for it. Always.
Some models, because models are tall, so they tend to have bigger feet. And there was some model who told a story about not having the right size shoes for a photo shoot. So she just had the shoe hanging off the tip of her toe, and it was a great picture, but she had to have the shoe like that because the shoe did not fit on her foot at all.
No way, no how.
So I am striking out on my own with shorts. I'm going to try a thing. We're going to see if it works. I'm giving it 50-50 right now.
I am going to need your help and support because you are more of an experienced designer than I am. And I want to design for myself something I'm thinking of as a Sunday morning sweatshirt. Just something to throw on.
Are you talking about sewing or knitting?
In knitting.
Okay.
I just want to make something to throw on when, it's cold in the morning. You just want to put something on over your pajamas.
So here's the thing about designing for yourself or designing in general. You have to make all the decisions. So just get comfortable with that. Just accept that. Because when you were trying to like adapt your vest pattern, you got bogged down in all the decisions.
I did.
So you just have to be okay with like, okay, you have to choose the yarn, you have to choose the gauge, you have to choose what needle size you're going to use, you have to choose the colors, you have to choose what fibers you want, is it a pullover, is it a cardigan, are there going to be buttons? Like, yeah. So first things first, anything that you're sure about, like if you know what neck shape you want, if you know how much ease you want or whatever, jot those down.
Okay.
Secondly, if you have something in your closet that fits the way you want this to fit, take some measurements from that.
All right. Well, you know what? I think I have a hoodie. I have one hoodie. And I want it to be a hoodie.
I also have only one hoodie. I was just thinking I need to get another hoodie because this thing, my hoodie can buy alcohol now. It's that old.
And my hoodie is getting there. Okay. My hoodie is old.
Okay. My hoodie could buy me a beer if I drank.
I don't wear hoodies much, but sometimes in the morning it's cold.
I had two of the same one, and the gray one finally gave up the ghost. ghost. I finally had to just let that one go. I still have my navy blue one.
So I was thinking about. She's laughing at my sketch. It's not. It's the first sketch.
It's just she has all these notes going around it, and it's just like I felt like I saw inside her head. And I'm like, this is why you're having a problem, sweetie.
You know, I mean, I was thinking. Okay, I was just thinking.
She needs red string. Okay.
I wanted to have a hood.
All right.
Okay.
So are you doing a round yoke? Is that what this is?
I want to have colors around that go up from the head, from the neck into the hood, and the same kind of color striping sequence on the wrists.
Right, but this right here is rounded. So are you doing that construction? Because you could also do like if you were doing like a drop shoulder, you could make this whole upper portion here, the colors of the hood.
Oh yeah, so I might do that because I did intend to have it be a drop shoulder.
She hasn't made a decision.
No. I did intend for it to be a drop shoulder. I just depicted it incorrectly.
Okay. This is going to be fun.
and see, she's making fun. Now I came to her. I was like, oh, you have more experience doing this.
We work completely differently. So this is going to be interesting. Like me showing her my methodology and her saying, no, I don't want to do it like that.
Oh, no. I know I've come for your advice. So I'm going to take your advice.
But yeah, no, this is like totally doable. Do you have an idea of the yarn you want to use?
Yes, I do. I want to use Bella Chenille.
Like that velvety stuff that you make baby blankets out of?
Yes.
Interesting.
I want it to be comfy, cozy, at home wear. I don't intend for this to be a run around the streets hoodie.
And it's going to be a pullover or a cardigan?
It's going to be a pullover.
Okay.
So it's going to be comfy. It's going to be cozy. It's going to be soft. It's going to have a hood. I'm considering putting bear ears on the hood. It's going to be that home style.
Okay.
I think it'd be so cute. Have a couple of little ears.
Okay.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, maybe I won't put the bear
she lost
ears.
me at bear ears.
I know.
That's okay.
I saw when she left me. I was like, it was a bear ears, wasn't it?
That's okay. That's okay. She can do her bear ears if she wants. But no, I don't think this will be a problem at all. So are these stripes or is this some sort of intarsia thing happening?
No, that was just gonna be garter stitch down there.
Okay.
Because I want the striping to be on the wrists and on the hood. That's where the drama is gonna be.
Okay.
And I came up with 3 different color schemes that I've already worked out in my mind.
You don't even have to choose one of those. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I just like, I like to have options. So I'm like, okay.
All right. So okay. So we're gonna design a hoodie together.
I could not believe she just looked at my sketch and just
I just
laughed.
wasn't prepared. I just,
What do you do? What do your sketches look
just
like?
My notes tend to be a little more linear. Like, see at the bottom, you just had the squiggle lines. So I was like, oh, is this color work? I would have had a little note.
There was an arrow and it said garter stitch.
Okay, I missed the arrow.
Oh, okay. This was like my preliminary sketch.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't like a good sketch. It was just, those were the ideas I had when I was ideating. I wasn't like organizing anything yet. Wow. Okay.
But yeah, I would say get something from your closet that's like this shape and fit you want.
Okay. I'll measure my hoodie.
And that'll tell you where you get your numbers from. That's how you'll know how much ease you're going to have in it. That'll tell you your sleeve length and things like that. So.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't even think of that. All right. There we go. I'll measure my one and only hoodie.
My closet is like such a shortcut. It's like my crib sheet for crochet. That I'm always just like, okay, if I'm making a thing, which one of these tops is it going to fit like, Okay. And that I find that very, very helpful because these are clothes someone's already made. So I don't have to reinvent the wheel.
And they fit you. And you like the way they fit because you chose them. So that makes a lot of sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. Your closet
will figure very heavily into your knitting or crocheting if you're designing for yourself.
Well, yeah, I wanted that comfy, cozy feeling. and it would be sort of like wrapping myself in a blanket, only I won't be, wrapped in a blanket walking around the house. I'll just have my cozy
Yay.
blankie on me, and maybe I'll get rid of my old hoodie that I've had for I don't want to say how many years. Not quite as many years as yours.
Yeah,
but
mine is very old.
Oh yeah, you have your bra top that you're working on too.
I am.
How's that going?
I haven't cut out the straps yet, and I was supposed to do it one day this week, and I just didn't because I was making shorts and stuff. So I was making shorts, I was making it tote bag. My plans don't always. I don't know if this happens to everyone. I have an idea for my day, and it's like I'm gonna do A, B, and C, but then A ends up taking way too long. So I do A, and then like a little snippet of B, and then I collapse before I can even think about C. Is that everyone, or is it just me?
I think that's most of us. Yeah.
Like, so I plan my day, and it never.
But you know what?
Goes the way I plan.
The only time I get my day to go pretty much the way I plan is that I set an amount of time I'm going to work on each thing, and when that time is up, I stop.
I understand your concept. But here's the thing: is like sometimes either I really want to just get to a certain point to stop that day, or sometimes I'm having a problem and I can't figure it out, and I get into this space where I'm just like not doing anything till I solve this problem right here.
Yeah, no, that's why I time block my day so that because tasks can expand to fill up whatever amount of time you have. So you have to take back control over that and go, okay, I'm only going to work on this for this amount of time. And they laugh at me, but that's why I use timers all day long.
That's not why we laugh at her. And that's the story she wants to tell people look like the bad guy. We laugh at her because she sets a timer, and then when the timer goes off, she goes, "What's that noise?"
That's only for some things. You know what? Sometimes I use a timer because I will forget. Like, I'll put on a pot of water to make tea and completely forgot I put on that pot of water. So I'll set a timer to remind me that the tea exists. So,
but when the timer goes off, it doesn't remind her that the tea exists.
It does eventually. It doesn't remind me on the first noise.
Many's the time that the timer goes off and she doesn't react at all. So I will sit and I will let the timer go, because most timers they'll beep 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 and stop, and then they'll beep 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 again, right? I will wait and see how many times it'll do that before, and usually I just break. Usually by the third beep, I'm like, Lee, you hear that? And she's like, yeah, I thought I heard something.
Sometimes I'm concentrating. I'm thinking about something else, so I'm not present.
I don't know that I've ever concentrated that deeply in my life.
But anyway.
That's not why we laugh at it, just so we're clear.
Getting back to the other conversation, try time blocking your day and saying, look, I'm going to spend X amount of time working on it. And you can also set a timer for that amount of time, but set it like 10 minutes short so that it gives you time to stop, to maybe make a note of what you need to do and put away.
But like, what happens if you're like the other day I was sewing and sewing machine A decided to be a joker and just not sew.
That was
right. Like it just wasn't working. First, it wouldn't sew at all. Corner? It is in the no corner.
Oh,
first it wasn't sewing at all, and then when it started sewing, it was only doing ugly loose stitches. And I messed with the bob and I took the whole thing apart and did the dusting and all that stuff. Nothing worked. Luckily, we had sewing machine B. And that's the only reason I got any sewing done that day. However, I spent a little over an hour of what was supposed to be sewing time messing with this machine. So what happens if I say, okay, I'm going to sew for 2 hours, but then 1 hour is machine repair?
Then that was your 2 hours.
No.
The other morning I had planned to knit I had planned an hour and 20 minutes of knitting, right? But my yarn was in such a state that I had to devote the entire time I had to knit to winding the yarn into a ball that I could use. It was tangled beyond belief, and it took the entirety of my knitting time that I had scheduled to make a ball that I could use. So I had to stop and move on to other tasks because I had other tasks that I needed to get to that day. And that's what it is. You have to be able to stop and move on. And as long as you can't stop and move on, it's
Yeah.
very hard to stick to a schedule. So, but the other thing too is I will time block things over the course of the week. So I'm like, all right, I have to stop today because something is happening. I can use it. I know, well, I have to schedule more time either later or on another day. I know exactly when that is. So I can comfort myself with that and it will help me to move on because it depends on what the
So
priority.
you schedule a time, say like 2 hours, knowing that you might not actually get 2 hours of knitting done.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize the yarn was
No,
that
but like
entangled.
you may not, and you are just like, and if you don't, then you just didn't get your 2 hours in.
Correct. Because it depends on the priority of the things. If the thing that comes next is a low priority, I might just say, okay, well, I'm going to take a little time away from that. But if they were of equal priority, I will just move on to the other thing because the other thing is important too.
I know I need to schedule my time better just because there's stuff that I want to do that I'm not getting to.
Right.
And it's been very frustrating.
Right.
But
and I'm not going to act like it's easy. Breaking off is hard.
Yeah.
But once you adjust to it, and since you know when you're going to work on it again, you're like, okay, I can work on this at the other time that I've already scheduled for it. So you put it away, and then that's how you get to that next thing on your list.
You know what? I'm gonna do like a little test, a little laboratory test. I'm gonna try that.
It's rough. It's rough at first. I'm not gonna act like it was easy, but I find that I'm getting to more things that I need to get to. Mm-hmm. And that was really, really helpful for me because then you have that other frustrating feeling like I
all
know
the
I
things
have
you
this,
didn't get
this,
to.
This, and this. Yes.
So I never feel like
at peace with the day.
Yes.
Yes.
And then you go to bed thinking about buttonholes.
Well, like this morning, I scheduled some time. You know, I'm doing that art class with Rachel, right? Mm-hmm. So I scheduled some time to work on art this morning. Mm-hmm. So I went ahead and did that. And then I knew I had knitting time scheduled. And I had the podcast we need to film. I mean, so I needed to move through the day. Yeah. It's tough though.
I need to work on time management better. I do.
It's not easy. I'm not going.
I have to move from task based to time based. Yes. I think that's my thing, and that's gonna be hard
because that's the other thing. Task based works if the tasks you're scheduling. It works better.
You know they're finite,
right? Or they are chunkable. So
like
that
I'm gonna cook dinner. You know, I mean, unless it's Thanksgiving, it doesn't take that long to cook dinner. Like. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
but things that are ongoing, it's hard to be task based because let's say you planned, I'm gonna make the buttonholes, I'm gonna install a placket, I'm gonna do this, do that, and that was the list for the day. You can't get to all those things in the list because they all take more time than you imagined they did. Then you're dissatisfied with the day. But if you said, look, I have an hour and a half or 2 hours for this today, or even 30 minutes for this today, as long as you hit that 30 minutes, you're golden. And you have made some progress rather than, no progress whatsoever.
I'm going to try that. I don't like it.
Me neither. I don't actually like it.
I'm going to try it.
Because what's more satisfying is crossing things off your list. That is very satisfying.
But I'm going to start it next week.
But you know what? It makes sense to sit and plan it. Yeah. So that you can because you know what? It doesn't make sense to plan something for a time when you're not really.
Because if we think back to last week's episode, mm-hmm. I showed y'all some shorts and, my tote is still in progress. What I said I was going to do was work on my silk dress.
Yeah.
I haven't touched that thing. So, task-based don't work.
Yeah. Not for ongoing tasks. Yeah.
All right, so we will check it. We'll check in with Lisa designing her first garment and me trying time-based time management, and we will keep you guys posted.
Also, is it next week? That's the 21st?
No, it should be the week after that.
Oh, week after next, June 21st, we are participating in the Summer Yarny YouTube Hop, when we're going to be revealing some projects we've worked on, so you can see them in all their glory. And we are part of a whole group of YouTubers doing this. So it should be like a day's worth of really fun yarn and summer inspired projects to see. So come on and check this out. If you subscribe to the newsletter, you will be notified when it's happening. Also, you can subscribe to the channel, and as soon as that video is up, if you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified that we're on. I think that's it for us today. What say you?
Yeah.
It's been a fascinating conversation. But we'll see how it all works.
Yeah.
Bye, guys. Thank you for joining us.